welcome into Blaze the Bingo Hall, another special episode with your host with the Most YoungLurch. Today we have a very special guest. He's hailing all the way out from California, the San Diego area. He is a trained professional wrestler from Paul, London. He is a manager amongst various independent wrestlers. He is the golden voice that makes your girl moist. He is Triple M Mike Martinez.
Hey, thank you, Lurch, for that wonderful intro.
No problem.
That was
man.
dope. I'm kind of unique, as you would say, on the scene here in SoCal. I grew up in the LA area. I live in the San Gabriel Valley, but I do a lot of performing in San Diego these days. Shout out to Big King Triv and Wrestling Warzone for bringing me down there. But it's an honor to be here on the second episode of your amazing new podcast. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak to the people, Young Lurch. You're a real one, brother.
I appreciate you. So I'm glad that you were able to stop by the bingo hall today and blaze it with your boy Young Lurch. We got plenty to talk about, all the way from wrestling, 420, anything in between with life. So let's go ahead and start it off with you, Mike. You started with the Kayfabe Academy. Is that the correct name of the school?
Yeah, that's the school I went to, and I'm kind of a unique story and how I got into the wrestling business. I didn't come in through a school system. Like, by the time I went to Kayfabe Academy, I was already 3 years in this business, 4 years in this business. Right? I know a few talent from the Knox Pro Academy run by Rikishi and the Black Pearl, Reno, Anawai. Much love to them. And I was going to shows, and I saw that one of my buddies from there had stepped out and was doing some stuff in Barstow with Destination 6 Wrestling. So I put on a shirt, tie, suit jacket, and I cut a promo, putting Psycho Stu and his partner Primal over. And Joe Money, Chris Impact, and Mama Cece Impact at Destination 6 Wrestling reached out to me and said, bro, that was pretty good. Like, who taught you how to do that? And I broke it down like that's just what I'd always seen Ric Flair do on TV. And they offered me a spot to be on commentary. And I took that spot, and we started like cooking on commentary. Then Lance Winters, shout out to my boy Lance, he was the ring announcer at that time, but he was getting ready to move on to another promotion and see what that was going to be about. So I moved in to that ring announcer's role and eventually became the general manager of Destination 6 Wrestling. So it wasn't until, while into me being at Comptonmania and with Relentless Pro Wrestling that I said, you know what? No one's going to take me serious if I don't go train at a school. And the opportunity presented itself at Paul London's Kayfabe Academy. And I think it's one of the overlooked schools in the area. And even as a manager, you got to learn the basics. You got to know how to work in a ring. You got to know how to run the ropes. You got to know how to safely take a bump. And that was a big thing because that was the biggest criticism for me at that time. Like, well, he didn't go to a school, so why does he belong here? And so I went to the school. I got the training. Do I need more? I sure do. And I'm looking forward to the next school I go to. But it very much is a unique journey.
And how old were you when you broke into the business? That's what I think is very unique.
I was 35 years old. I'm 41 now.
Are you ever too old to break into the business?
If you got that fire in your belly, no. If you want to, and the thing is at my age, you have to come to terms with certain things. Like, are you going to go the wrestler's path? Or is there another avenue that you can be very useful in that may not be an in-ring performance role? And I've found those niches as the mayor of Comptonmania, as the golden voice of Valor Pro Wrestling, as the golden snake you love to hate from Relentless Pro Wrestling, right? I think you saw the last Valor Pro Wrestling show I went live for. I was doing camera work, I was doing commentary, and I was ring announcing. And
That was
I'll
during
be
Vegas
honest with
week,
you.
right?
Oh, I was in Vegas last week too, but we'll get to that in a second. That's a whole rehab story.
I got that to get to as well. We'll get to it.
But I like being a manager, but I also like being a ring announcer still, because it reminds me of my humble beginnings in pro wrestling, right? Before I was that golden voice that keeps you moist.
So do you feel like that once you, I guess, formally trained, that things got a little bit better for you as far as like, I guess, maybe whatever tension there was, I guess, the people that thought that maybe you didn't pay your dues, I guess, in the beginning?
Yeah. It earned me some more respect. It told people that I'm serious about what I'm doing here. I won't lie to you. I was doing backyard wrestling until I fell into professional wrestling.
Okay.
And doing it as a 30-pluser, people look at you like you're a weird guy. You're a weird guy.
There's something off
right?
about this guy.
Yeah. But see, that's always been me. I'm the character. I'm the character in my family.
Yeah.
I don't fit into your box.
I always say that with wrestling too, like it definitely brings all walks of life, all different types of people. And it's almost like a disease is how I would describe it, because like once you get that bug and once you get that itch, it's like hard to break it. And then
it really is. It really is. And like I started my wrestling career and then the pandemic happened. And we all know how the pandemic changed things, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, my marriage was kind of in a shaky place. I'm struggling through the pandemic as a Toyota car salesman, right? And for a while, I kind of gave up on wrestling. I was like, I gotta pay the bills. And then Chris Impact from Destination 6 Wrestling, and a lot of love to Destination 6. They really helped break me in and make me understand what direction I can go in. Right? That's someplace I will always call home. And so much love to Mama Cece and Chris and what they're now doing in Illinois with Destination 6 Wrestling. But I came to a point where, like, what's more important, right? And they pulled me back into it. And my ex-wife, literally in the divorce paperwork, cites the fact that I chose to pursue a career in professional wrestling as one of the reasons that was irreconcilable for her and I to continue as a married couple. I had Toyota basically tell me, like, look, do you want your career or do you want your hobby? So I pursued my career in professional wrestling and gave up my hobby of selling cars.
It's great. That's a great way to look at it. If that's, you know what I mean, your dream and and the mentality that you have is to pursue it, you know?
The one thing I've always driven into my children's mind, all five of them, is there's nothing that can stop you if you really want it. Right? The one thing I had to teach myself is just because the dream didn't come true when I wanted it to, didn't mean it wasn't going to come true. You got to have patience, right? It's like you're a crocodile at the edge of the water. You just got to wait for that right moment to strike.
Yep.
It could be yours. And it takes a lot of hard work, discipline, and thick skin.
Yeah. I mean, that's good traits to instill into your kids. I mean, allow them to be them, and if they want something, to work hard for it and to go get it, and to take their time and be patient for it, because not everything happens immediately, especially in today's age and generations that are coming up. Everybody wants the instant gratification. They want the instant, right now.
Oh, yeah.
So
and I'll tell you, it's so humbling and such a blessing to be where I'm at in professional wrestling. If I was taken off of this earth tomorrow, I would look back from heaven and be like, you know what? I did the damn thing. I checked the boxes. Yeah. Because I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy. But guess what? Professional wrestling allows me to be that comedic character.
Yep.
Right? I always wanted to be a mayor, and I was one. I always wanted to be a lawyer, and I became one. All through professional wrestling.
Yeah. Hey, and that's why I love it, because if there, you get to be somebody else for, a brief moment, and, while you're out there, and however long that lasts, and every time you get a chance to do it again, that's the addiction. That's what keeps you coming back for
Yeah.
more, like.
See, but the other edge of that sword for me is I am my gimmick, right? Triple M is Michael Martinez and vice versa. Right? Oh no, this is like at certain times it's real turned up, but certain times they're like, that's just Mike.
Yeah.
Right. But the common thing I'm getting lately is, who am I talking to? Am I talking to Mike, or am I talking to the gimmick? Right. So I don't know if that's a compliment or something I really need to like sit there and think about.
Hey, I think as long as it doesn't get to, the Ric Flair stage, that you'll be all right, because he completely lost himself a long time ago. But as long as you're not that far gone. But we're
hey,
gonna
bro, get to I'm not running up credit or anything like that, bro. It's like, I'm Triple M, baby.
Or trying to get at restaurants, getting mad at restaurants if they don't copy the bill and stuff.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Like, that's not cool. I just use my veterans discount. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But we're going to get into wrestling a little bit in a few minutes here. I got a couple other things I want to cover before we get to that.
Yeah.
We'll bounce back and forth here. So you are from California. Are you born and raised in California?
I was born in Glendale, California, and I was raised in Boyle Heights in East LA for the most part.
East LA. Okay.
I now live in a suburb of LA in the San Gabriel Valley. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want people knocking on my door.
No, definitely not.
But I lived
like major city wise, would LA would be the closest city to
you? LA would be the closest city to me. The next most notable city would probably be San Dimas, right? I did live in the Inland Empire in California, more of like the Riverside area. And I did spend some time when I was in the military in the state of Missouri. No, I did not mispronounce that state's name. That's exactly what it was for me.
I had a layover flight there one time, and it was, you could look out the window and see absolutely nothing. So
yeah, I was in St. Roberts at Fort Leonard Wood. So all we had was a Waffle House, Big Louie's, and a Walmart. That was about it. That's all we had out there. Right.
So born in California. That was my next question was, so you have a military family background, right? And then you also were in the military. So let's talk about your military family background. How was that growing up?
It was different. It was different. My mother served in the Air Force.
Okay.
My father was a first recon Marine who served in Vietnam. He was hit with the RPG and suffered 21 shrapnel wounds from the waist down. So he looked at things a little different. It was a little bit more regimented. It was very strict. A lot of things were life or death in his eyes, because you could step on a booby trap in the jungle and you're gone, right? So he had a little different, approach to things. Childhood was a little rough, right? A little rough. But it made us who we are today. And I think that's why I'm able to survive in this element of professional wrestling. Guys look at me like a little crazy. Like Blake Troop looked at me a little odd when I told him, like, hey, bro, when you hit me with that forearm, hit me with that forearm. Work me snug. Work me snug, because I'm trained falling down is a weakness and you'll be disciplined for it. But if something enacts on you to cause you to fall down, it goes. And also, like, when I feel that contact, it makes it a better reaction for me. Like, oh no, like
actually register.
Right, like there's a video I recently posted on my TikTok page from a past press conference where I represent.
I seen it.
The slap. The slap, right?
Yeah, you got slapped. Yeah.
So I told Inferno, I was like, hey, bro, like pop me, like hit me, slap me, and make sure they hear it and make sure I feel it. He's like, why? I said, because if you don't hit me with force, I won't react to it. Nobody's ever hit me harder than my father.
Mhm.
So you gotta lay and the reaction and how you know we had it was you watch Biagio, who's the wrestler sitting right in front of us, and he hears the pop and you see him drop his drink and like, what the fuck just happened?
I seen him
Right?
hop up and was kind of
Yeah.
like, oh,
And see, I like those genuine reactions, those
yeah,
knee-jerk reactions. That's what I live for. That's the theatrical, cinematic, dramatic aspect of pro wrestling where you get to be that actor.
yeah. I
Right?
mean, I seen it. You definitely got you got slapped pretty good there. So I mean, hey, I mean that, like you said, that gives the reaction, that real reaction that you're gonna get from the fans, because if they're sitting there thinking, oh yeah, this is okay, and then somebody gets the shit smacked out of them, now you got my attention. So, and then, of course, you got the shit smacked out of you, so you are able to really sell that and portray that to the fans.
He bought me a hamburger after because he felt bad. I was like, yeah, cool, I'll get slapped for free hamburgers all day.
He's like, I only did what you told me to do, and then I still feel bad, but yeah.
Well, you see an Inferno. He's a big guy.
Yeah, he definitely gave you a good one.
Yeah.
So just to touch on the last part here, so your dad, he was hit with an RPG, so he awarded a Purple Heart, correct?
Purple Heart.
Wow.
Never used the wheelchair. Never used the wheelchair. And I'm gonna say this for all you old school WWE fans from way back in the day: Sergeant Slaughter ain't got shit on my dad.
Yeah, Sergeant Slaughter, he's a character. But yeah, so was he active in the military when you were young, or he was already incident all that already happened?
He wasn't active in the military, but he was very active in the world of Veterans Affairs.
Okay.
And raising awareness for veterans' rights and advocacy. My father, my Uncle Mike, my Uncle Andy, my Uncle Henry, Tony Diamond, my Uncle Joe Romo, all were instrumental in 1985 or 1986, I believe. Might have been 87, bringing the replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall to Belvedere Park in East Los Angeles, where a bulk of Vietnam veterans came from. They helped open the first vet centers in the East LA and greater Los Angeles area. And I mean, even until his retirement years, was very active with Marine Corps Toys for Tots. He was very active with a veterans group called Bravo, Brotherhood Rally of All Veterans Organizations. They used to have a 30-minute TV show that went out to every ship, every base, every hospital, saw sound off. They also had a magazine called The Veterans Vision, which helped veterans raise awareness to Agent Orange and that whole situation, bringing an awareness for the POW and MIA movement. Now, the ironic thing is, my father was not a fan of professional wrestling.
Really?
He hated it. He would bust my balls, but I enjoyed it. Now, fast forward some years later, I work with a company called Valor Pro Wrestling in Hesperia, California. We work out of the VFW Hall 2924, Joshua Tree. And we have a title that is the POW MIA United States title. That title is in dedication to those POW and MIA soldiers that haven't made it home. It can only be defended at a VFW or at a sanctioned VFW event.
That's
it can
pretty awesome.
only be held by a veteran. Okay.
Oh, really?
So even through the world of professional wrestling, I'm carrying my father's torch and I'm running with it with Veterans Affairs, helping other vets and letting them know wrestling is a place where we love our veterans. Most of the roster that we work with are United States veterans from the Army, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Coast Guard. Will take you from wherever we can. And God bless you and thank you for serving this country.
So what branch of the military were you in? Because that was my next question. I was going to ask if you were in the military, but we did touch on that.
I was in the Army.
Okay.
my father would not allow me to join any other branch.
And that was what he was in as well.
Yeah, he would. No, he was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay.
He's
Because
built different.
he didn't want you to go to the Marines.
No. He's in his eyes like I should have never joined the military. I should have went straight to college.
Because he didn't think you were cut out for it, or
no, it's being sent to the front line, and mind you, being a recon Marine, that's special forces, that's special operations.
Mhm.
So he knew the horrors of war. I'm a 9/11 graduate. 9/11 happened my senior year of high school.
Wow.
So he knew the conflict that was going to happen after. My father spent many years as a military analyst and contributor for many of the local stations in Los Angeles, like Channel 34 and 52, which are Spanish-speaking stations, but also Channel 5 and Fox 11. So he knew the horrors of war, and he did not want to send his son to war.
He knew what was coming.
Right. Now, me, I don't like to brag about it, but I'm not exactly a dumb guy, right? I got a very high score on my ASVAB, somewhere around 120, which is unheard of. Okay, so I had my pick of jobs, and I picked to be a nuclear, biological, chemical warfare specialist because I had just seen Nicolas Cage in a movie with Sean Connery called The Rock. And also, it sounded like a real dangerous job, and all I ever wanted to do was impress my father.
Yeah.
Right. So went through basic training. I get stationed with the 1st of 144 Field Artillery Battalion. I was originally with Alpha Battery in Azusa, but they shipped out up north. So I got attached to our battalion headquarters in Burbank. And there I sat for 4 years. Doing washing Humvees, changing oil on Humvees, doing anything but my job. Okay. I get out, ETS, they make me a specialist. It's a good day. A week later, my dad says, "Hey, come to breakfast with me. I'm gonna go meet one of my friends." We walk into Caro's in Monterey Park, and there is sitting 2-star General Gus Hernandez, 2-star General of the 40th Infantry Division, and the general in charge of the 1st 144 Field Artillery. I put all the pieces of the puzzle together right then and there. Understood why I didn't go anywhere. Right? Didn't ask for that favor. Just happened that way. Not a combat veteran. Never been in combat. Never been in country. I did probably serve my country, and I'm happy to serve other vets as well. But I don't claim anything I'm not. Unless you're like way bigger than me and we about to get in a fight, then I'm gonna go full batshit crazy.
Yeah, the people that do that, they're obviously pieces of shit. I see videos all the time of people that steal valor, and there's like Navy SEALs that go out there and they expose these guys, and there's a whole rabbit hole you can go down. People just that they walk around in fatigues, and it's like you've lost your mind. Like that's like one of the lowest things you could possibly do. Like
there's a lot of germs like that out there.
Yeah. Because they can, it's almost, you can say the same thing, not to compare the military to the wrestling business, but there's a lot of phonies in the wrestling business that like to, let's say it, steal valor and say, hey, I'm this or I'm that or whatever, especially in today's age where the business isn't really as protected as it used to be, and anybody can, so to say, like, get into it,
Can we call that stolen kayfabe?
Stolen kayfabe. That's
stolen kayfabe.
You heard it here first on Blaze the Bingo Hall.
Stolen kayfabe, trademark.
Yes, we are coining the phrase stolen kayfabe. Yes, yeah, I love it. But so obviously out in Cali, growing up in a military household, cannabis is a big impact. Has a big impact in California. I myself have been an advocate for almost 20 years now. I've spent 6+ years in the medical cannabis industry within Maryland and West Virginia. Tell me about growing up in a military household. Were you a cannabis user at a young age? When did you discover it? Was it later in life? Tell me about that.
That's funny. I like to say I come from a long line of potheads. right? My mother was a user back in the 70s, right? In the 80s, and even after I was born. My dad and my uncle were very, open about how they used it, and at points, me and my dad, we did, share a few doobies because I didn't like him on all the pharmaceuticals the VA was throwing at him, so I wanted to give him another option to deal with his
For
pain.
sure.
I was there. I got one of the first medical cards as soon as that shit was available in California. I started smoking weed around 13, 14 years old.
Okay.
Right.
Same. When I was 15.
I think it served me well because I've grown up with ADHD without it being diagnosed. And again, that's part of being raised in my father's household. You don't have ADHD, you have a lack of discipline. So catch this fade.
Yeah.
Right. But it slows me down enough for my brain to be able to focus.
To catch up.
Right.
Yeah.
Indicas hit me kind of heavy, so I like, if I'm gonna do a hybrid, I like it to be more sativa dominant, or I prefer sativas because I like to be up, bubbly, functional. I'm a talkative guy. But yeah, weed has always been part of my like life experience. I gave up weed when I was in the military last year. But it's gotten me through the highs. It's gotten me through the lows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've smoked weed with my mom. I smoke weed with my uncle, who's a Vietnam vet. It just, I don't know. It's just part of the culture growing up here in Southern California, and being part of this area. I'm not gonna say it's exclusive to being Hispanic or any other ethnicity, because I've smoked weed with all types of people, right?
It brings everybody together.
Bro, and like really, you smoke some weed with someone, you have a conversation, and you find out point of views in different ways. People could talk more calmly about things when there's a doobie involved.
Got that right. I mean,
right?
I when I got into the industry, I gave myself the impression, or whatever you want to call it, that basically you have to kind of prove to me that you don't smoke weed, because I've seen so many different people come in and out of dispensaries and want to be interested in it, and they're curious and they want to find out how it can help them and how it can help their friends and family. And yeah, it's like you see old ladies and you see,
Bro,
military people, all walks of life,
like, and I'm gonna put it to you this way: I'm not telling anybody what to do.
No,
If
of course not.
if you're not part of it, you don't want to indulge in that. That's your choice. We're not here to convince people that it's good for them. And always consult your own professional medical caretaker before doing any different substances or things like that.
Yes.
Okay. We got to protect ourselves legally over here.
Yep.
I found through my father's experience being treated by the VA, having them give him pill form morphine, drinkable form morphine, a Xanax, Valium, Vicodin, and a slew of other narcotic opiate-based pills that did not enrich his life. It shortened it. It put him in a medical coma for most of my high school experience, right? There's other holistic alternatives that you can see, right? My fiance suffers from fibromyalgia.
Mm-hmm.
So edibles really help her out, right? They kind of like, they do the trick. Every now and again she'll smoke a little bit, but edibles tend to be the most therapeutic thing for her. We use the CBD creams because wrestling ain't painless.
You got that
right? And just everyday life, right? So that's very therapeutic. I know Rick Sampson oil was the thing at the beginning, helping people through different studies that they did about it with epilepsy and things like that. So as many detractors there are for the medical cannabis industry, there's a lot of people that are for it and benefit. It's over a $1 billion industry. And in Colorado and here in California, it's doing a lot of good things with the tax revenue that it's generating for the cities that the dispensaries are in and the local education systems.
I mean, I can just attest for the state I live in, which is West Virginia, which is one of the poorest states in our country. And yeah, I mean, for the tax that they can bring in, and then they can help the infrastructure. In a state like this, it's about maybe 50 years behind on just standard infrastructure. Not even talking about cannabis. Yeah, it's a big deal for these states once they realize, and I think once they see the amount of money that they can bring in, that's when they hurry up and they sign whatever they got to sign to hurry to get these bills passed. But
see, and they don't understand the medical benefits from it, from certain extracts and compounds within the THC derivatives. You don't understand that you can make clothes from this, you can make rope from this, you can derive biofuel from this.
Houses, hempcrete.
Yeah,
Hempcrete.
like
It's stronger than regular concrete, but we can't use it because it's got traces of THC in it. So,
hey, put me in a house where I can lick the wall and get stoned. I'm there, baby. The snozberries taste like snozberries.
Tastes like snozberries, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. And now you have shows that are cannabis shows, cannabis wrestling shows.
Yeah.
Right? There's a few promotions here in California run by like The Godfather and guys like RVD that are cannabis based shows.
Yeah.
Right? WWE doesn't even test for it anymore.
I mean, we seen what Travis Scott did on that episode of Raw on Netflix when he came out with Jey Uso.
He was loud as fuck in LA. He knew he could get away with it here, though.
Yeah. So it's like, times are changing, and I'll say this until I'm blue in the face, but the fact that I can put my order in online and go to a drive-through, it still blows my mind. You know what I mean? Because I come from, back in the day. I also, over here.
Well, if the homeboy's porch light was on, he still had stock. If the porch light was off, he was out of stock. That's how we used to do it back in the day.
Yeah. So what's your preference? Do you like vaping or flower?
Well, I like smoking flower. I like smoking flower. I like vaping because it's portable. It goes where I go. But I'm a big fan of taking dabs.
Yes.
Bro, I could take 2 dabs and be chill as fuck for a little while.
I didn't start getting into dabs until probably right before I got into the industry. And that's when people were lighting the torch. And then as soon as they would take the torch off, you're hitting the dab. And it's like, oh yeah, it's just like straight, instant sweats. Your lungs are straight done. And that's how I did dabs. I did maybe 5 times like that. Right. With friends that were bringing it over here and there. And I was like, that's not for me. I don't want to get a torch and a rig and do all that. Plus, it fucking hurts. But I mean, you do get high as shit. But once I got into the industry though, and then realized, hey, you shouldn't be hitting it right after that. You need to let it cool down. You need to time, whatever you need to do. But
Cold start.
Start liking it.
Cold start. Cold start dabs are the shit. Right?
My brother's a big proponent on the cold start.
So you put your little waxy at the bottom, bro, and then you slowly heat it up. Let it liquefy a little bit. But then you let it get up, and then you hit it. It's such a smoother experience. Or you get the nail or the banger hot, right? Set a timer for 45 seconds, right? And then hit it after that 45 seconds. It's a much smoother process. You waste less smoke. It doesn't hurt. And you're actually going to get high instead of ruining this whole area of your life.
Yeah, it's once all those capillaries and stuff bust and, you feel all that mucus and stuff coming through. It's like, God.
Also, make sure you got some chill water in the gimmick. See, but then you got stuff like the Puffco now.
Yeah, true. Makes it way too convenient to just rip a dab
Whoa, did you know?
anywhere.
Did you know the top tier Puffco? You could control that shit from your phone.
Oh, I know it does all kind of stuff. They got the lights on
It got
there.
the
You know,
it got the 3D chamber. Like I thought it
I
was
just
already 3-dimensional. What the
I
fuck do you
just
mean?
I can't justify paying that money for it. I know they're good. I know they're the best. I know they work. But like my brother has one, and he tells me every 6 months or something like that, 9 months, he has to buy a new atomizer. So it's like that's another
Yeah.
$80 every
Well,
few months on top of the 400 you spend for your Puffco. So it's like because
well.
they won't even wholesale to dispensaries.
So with the Puffco, you gotta clean it every 4 uses,
Mm.
especially if you're a heavy user, because that shit gets all gummed up. And then you can redo the atomizer and the coil. Like there's videos to show you how to like get it back working, but it's never the same. It's never the same. Just do it the old-fashioned way, kids. Get a skillet and a bell and a torch. Go for it. How they used to do
Yeah.
hashish back in the day.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just use a torch and the rig, and I don't want
And then
to.
even some of the rigs they have are so freaking extravagant. You got like 3 pearls jumping around in there. Like, what the fuck? Is this Circus Soleil or am I taking them a dab?
Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff now that's like it becomes it's like a dog and pony show. They try to one up each other and this and that,
But
and then if you get people to get into the really expensive glass, it's like that's
but
like
I
I guess
will
it's
tell
just
you
art.
this. I will tell you this. If you are in the West Covina area, you need to go to Absolute Smoke on Vincent and San Bernardino. They got some good glass there. They got some very good glass there.
Do you buy like expensive glass, or I mean I like to look
No.
at it, but like it's even hard to like how do you even clean some of that stuff? Like
See, like I have a Donkey Bong. Shout out to Donkey Bong and Gemworks. And it's a cool concept how they have it. So it's kind of like a hookah design, right? So it traps the smoke in there so you don't lose any. But basically, you just take some hot water, some rubbing alcohol, some high percentage rubbing alcohol, some salt, bam, 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 shake that bad boy up, clean it out, bam, you're good to go again. Just be careful with the stems, bro. You gotta be careful with the down stems.
yeah, that's I broke so many bowls and stuff like that, just trying to clean them and stuff like that. I feel like nowadays it's just easier for me to just buy something new, like a cheap little $5 piece or something like that,
Yeah.
$10 piece, than it is to have to buy the $20 solution and then clean it. And it's just a mess and it
Or
stinks.
you don't
And
need it. You don't need to buy the solution. Hot water, high percentage rubbing alcohol,
that's what I used to
table
install.
salt.
Yeah,
All you
that's what
need.
I used to use. I used to use that all the time, and then I started getting bougie and started buying the cleaner
The
and stuff
orange
at the
stuff, huh?
yeah, the orange 710 and all that nasty stuff. So all right, we're gonna pivot here from cannabis. We're gonna get to a little bit more of a serious note here. So I'm gonna go ahead and shed the light on you and allow you to take it. But I know that there has been a controversy in your family, a hardship within your family with your stepson. I don't really know too many details about it, but I want to give you the platform to share your story and shed some possible light and eyeballs on the situation. So I'll allow you to take the floor, Triple M.
So we're coming up on 2 years. Father's Day will be 2 years. Of my stepson. I don't like using that term because when you're in a relationship, they're all yours.
Okay.
Hansel being taken by his father into Mexico illegally. Now it was his dad's legal weekend with him for Father's Day, as ordered by the court. We're following the rules. Unknown to us at that time, his father was fleeing from 2 different felony DUI charges with bodily harm. At that time, or that week, he quit his job, emptied out his apartment, and decided he was going to take Hansel into Mexico and never return with them. We believe he's somewhere around Mexico City. It took them all but of a day to get there. There's confirmation by Border Patrol that they did cross the San Diego border that weekend around 8:49 p.m. And the FBI is involved. We have Interpol involved, the State Department, local um, politicians like Gil Cisneros has reached out to us, and has the previous Congress lady that served before him. Um, we're asking for you to raise awareness. You can follow me. That's my TikTok and Instagram. Share the post. If you have friends or family members in Mexico, share the post. There are GoFundMe's that are set up, which are linked to my fiance's page, used to fund his legal fees. We're also in the middle right now of trying to raise money to get a private investigator in Mexico to help the authorities further track him.
Wow.
This is not a gimmick. This is not a fun situation. We have not heard from our son in nearly 2 years. Valor Pro Wrestling versus Pro Wrestling, Comptonmania Pro Wrestling, Amped Up Pro Wrestling, and I'm missing one.
Was it Rebellious?
No,
Okay.
not Rebellious. We'll talk about Rebellious in a second. But various wrestling companies here in the Southern California area have helped out wrestlers like Duke Lawrence, Principe Leon, King Triv, Noah Anderson, and so many more. Savannah Stone, Danica Bloodwind, Red Spider, Will Andy, Rancho Camacho, have all, gone out for him. Hansel's a wrestling kid. He's grown up in the locker rooms I perform in. He wrestles with tough kids here in the city we live in. His dream is to become a wrestler, and he loves going to the shows with us. He he has this thing when he plays with his action figures that he has me do the ring announcing and put the music videos on the TV for him. And if any of you are parents out there, like, I'm doing my best to really keep it together right now. So if I pause, just forgive me.
You're good, Triple M. You're good. Like I said, I just wanted to be able to let you say whatever you needed to say to bring awareness to your situation. And again, if there's any eyeballs that can get brought to light, if there's anybody that can help or knows anything, please reach out for sure.
I mean, the best way you guys can help is write to your congressperson and ask them to start helping with Hansel, bringing awareness for it. If you're a parent, you don't want to know this agony.
No,
you
I
really
can't even
don't.
imagine. I can't even imagine your pain and your wife's pain and your family.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get through the day. It really does. It really does. And I know people see me out here being a character, and I'm just doing what I have to do to try to put food on the table, keep the bills paid, the light on here, so Hansel has somewhere to come back home to. We're waiting every day. Any minute the FBI can call and say, put her on a plane. It's happening now. Right?
Yeah.
If you cannot contribute to the GoFundMe, I understand. But what you can do is go to my page, follow my fiance, and copy those posts and repost them everywhere you can. Talk to everybody you know about them. Write to Nancy Grace. Write to the White House and ask them what's going on with Hansel. Because the sad part is he's one. He's one of many.
Yeah.
This should not happen. If you're having a problem with your ex spouse, your baby daddy, your baby mama, there's better ways to deal with it than taking the child. Because you're not only hurting that other individual, you're hurting the child. Right? And all I'm asking for is, as a parent, right? You lose your kid. You lose track of your kid in Walmart. How quick do you lose it? How quick do you, where's my child? Where's my child?
Yeah.
Right? It's Easter's hard. The next holiday is gonna be hard. So whoever you pray to, please include Hansel in that prayer.
Yeah,
Include include Maricela, my fiance, his mother, in that prayer. We just want to bring Hansel home.
yeah. Anybody watching, like I said, Triple M, you can follow him on his Instagram, and I know you have something pinned on there with information as well. Yeah, and like you said, if you can donate, and if you can't, please share, repost, anything you can do to, again, spread awareness. But I'm gonna pivot. We're gonna get into a little bit of a lighter topic here. The name Triple M. So Mike Martinez. I know that I've heard you speak before, and I know that you are a Triple H fan, so that had some influence on your name. How did you discover the name, or how did you come about with the Triple M moniker?
So all three of my initials are M.
Okay.
I am Michael Mark Martinez. Yes, I am a fan of Triple H, right? But he wasn't the inspiration of Triple M. I didn't even give myself the name, right? I want to say I was like 15, maybe 16 years old. And we were at one of my cousin's parties at my Aunt Carmen's house. Hi, Aunt Carmen. Love you.
Hey, Carbon.
And me and my cousin BT are sitting there, and like, this is the kid I was, bro. Like, if you asked me to empty my pocket that day, I had 2 cassettes that were nothing but WWE music. I probably had a double-bladed lightsaber pen because I'm a Star Wars mark. And just nerdy shit, right? And so my cousin goes, "You're Michael Mark Martinez, bro. You're Triple M, bro. That's just it. You're Triple M. You're that guy." And then Triple M turned into various things. Like, if I want to be cheeky and kind of make an off-color joke, I could call myself the Massive Meat Missile. I've been called the Motor Mouth Mentiroso. Like, one of the things that I do is I'll ask somebody, "What's the sound 3Ms make together?" Yeah, it's something like that. But like, it's just who I am, right? Like, I would say my character acts more like Ric Flair than he does Triple M or Triple H.
Triple H.
Right? The only thing that's Triple H's that I do, and I've only done it one time in a match that never saw the light of day, was I got to hit a pedigree one time. But that was it. Right? But it's like, it's always been Triple M. Michael Mark Martinez. That's how I know I'm in trouble.
And also that's how you came up with your handle too, right? Because I didn't even put that together, like the 3PLE, like Triple M. Yeah.
So that's a nod to one of my aunts that's no longer with us.
Okay.
I come from an immigrant family. So on my mom's side, the family has been here for 3 generations, but immigrated from Mexico. On my dad's side, I'm one of the first generations born from his branch here in the US. But my aunt had a thick Spanish accent. So she would call me Triple M. Right? And I'm born in 1984, so that just works. But yeah, I mean, I can understand how people are like, "Oh, you're a Triple H knockoff," but I'm sorry, I don't act anything
like Triple H.
Triple H. I don't have the muscles. I mean, I can maybe do my facial hair like him. Yeah. But I don't, at this point, I don't want anybody associating me to him like that. Because I know if I ever got hired by WWE, day one, I'd become Marcos Rubio. Yeah. Or something else. Yeah. Right? I become Sonny Getz. Hey, cousin Sonny.
They're not having any other triples in there.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing. I've learned like this is a cool gimmick, but I can't be married to it because some promoters may not want Triple M. They may like my performance, but I want you to portray this guy. We don't want Triple M. We want this guy. So you always have to have variations of yourself in your back pocket. Like one of the things I'm told I'm good at is being myself without being myself. And what I mean is there's overlaps in some of my bookings. There's some shows that Comptonmania, Relentless, and Valor are all together. Right? So I've got to go from being the mayor of Comptonmania to the golden snake you love to hate, but also be the golden voice of Valor Pro Wrestling at the same time. Right? Usually when somebody says, hey, you're the mayor of Comptonmania, aren't you? I'll be like, I know who you're talking about, and I get confused from him all the time. Don't get me wrong. He is handsome as a devil. But I appreciate his work, but no. I'm a different Mike. Right. Or if a Comptonmania fan catches me without the neck brace, it's so you were faking it? No, I have the best doctors out there, and I just came from my stem cell treatment, so my neck is okay for right now.
Yeah, I know that you have the neck brace gimmick going. How is that? Is that something you wanted to do, or is that something a promoter wanted you to do, or?
Bro, like that's such a funny story. So I played with the neck brace idea before. It didn't get as over. But that the original neck brace, the immobilizing neck brace, was given to me by my dear friend, Mr. Jacob Gibbs, who I sold cars with at Honda. And he said, look, bro, I don't know when you're going to need this in wrestling, but you're going to need this one day. Boy, was he right. So it was Comptonmania. I forget what Compton. It was before Versus the World. It was before Comptonmania versus the World. Shiloh Greaves wins the Comptonmania title from my nemesis, Sean Black, who I would later go on to manage. I get in the ring, and Shiloh fires me from being their lawyer and stomps me out and throws me out of the ring. I was supposed to be written off of the script, right? I said, nah, I got something cooking. I went to the hospital my cousin works at, and I stood outside of the ER, and I cut a promo in the neck brace, and I'm coming with lawsuits, and that wrote me into the storyline, and the neck brace stuck, and people loved the neck brace. Then we changed to the blue neck brace with my logo on the side of it, and I'm going to tell you what, bro, I can't keep them in stock. People love the neck brace. Yeah. I'm waiting for some cash flow to come in so I can reorder the neck braces and have my cousin put I have one left, and that's the one I perform with. Yeah. Now, mind you, I have a neck brace in various cities in Southern California, in San Diego. I've got a neck brace in Massachusetts. Hi, Joey. It's a hit. It's a hit.
Yeah.
And it's a good gimmick, and I just didn't think it was going to run this long.
I mean, I've been around wrestling my whole life, and I think that's the first I've seen. I mean, you see neck brace gimmicks, but I've never seen someone selling the neck brace gimmick. That's pretty.
Bro, I'm a manager. I'm a manager who sells merch.
Yeah.
Right? Some people don't agree with it, and I can understand their viewpoint. At the same
because you're
time,
taking away from the wrestlers. Is that why?
I could see that, but at the same time, I mean, we're all allowed to make an income, and we're all trying to be entrepreneurs here. And I don't ever underprice my stuff versus somebody else to undercut their sales, right? I encourage, hey, you bought something from me, thank you very much. Now check out my friend Eddie Eastloss and see what he's got going on.
Yeah.
Right? I don't like when promoters bring outside vendors in because it takes money from the boys selling merch. Half of the time, my merch will never leave the trunk of my car, except at certain shows where I've got a little bit more of a presence, i.e. Relentless Pro Wrestling. I'm the head heel manager over there. Right? So I've got a following. I've got a group of fans who like to support me. Also, anybody wants a Triple M shirt? Look at this handsome little guy.
Check it out.
I'm gonna have to show out a little bit, Lurch.
Check it out.
Right?
Hell yeah.
I'm still gonna run my sale until May. If you want a shirt, DM me at the link right here. $15 plus shipping. It's a great deal. It comes with a signed autographed picture of me.
Can't beat that. You can't beat that, everybody.
If you catch
With
me
a
at a
signed
show,
picture,
if you catch me at a show and your kids are there and you want to buy a shirt, they're gonna get some free Pokemon cards. I can be giving away $1 million. I wouldn't even know.
do you guys hear that? This man's giving away rare Pokemon cards and doesn't even know it. And you guys could be, you could have
I
that
just know the kids
$100,000.
like the shiny ones. I know the
you
kids
could-
like the shiny ones.
You could be giving away that $100,000 Charizard that Logan Paul had.
Oh
around his
no,
neck.
but no. If I saw the I know the Charizard when I see one, bro.
So let me talk about how we first met. We first met. Am I looking okay on your end, video wise?
You've been in the same position for about 20 minutes.
Oh my God. See, I didn't know if it was like that on my end or your end too. So hold on. And we're back. Sorry about that, everybody. I was frozen. I did not know what was going on. I did not know if Triple M could see me frozen. Couldn't get my background correct, so we're just going to rock with the green screen for the rest of this broadcast. But I was basically getting into how Triple M and I met. So it's kind of unique because we met over TikTok Live. I'm not someone that goes on TikTok Live. I started recently about 2 months ago going on lives. I walked into, I guess, a promo battle of Triple M's and a few others that were on there. And, I was on there trolling, talking a little shit. And, Triple M called me out. I went on there and we had a little confrontation or spat or whatever. But I really think it was more of a misunderstanding. And I think it's kind of funny because for me personally, Triple M, I have so many friends that are lifelong friends or some of my best friends that's how we met. Was we got off on the wrong foot somehow, some way, didn't really, see eye to eye or whatever in the beginning. But then just became fast friends after that. So tell me about that. And also tell me about the TikTok drama that sort of comes your way when you're running your promo battles that you run on TikTok.
So, yeah, you caught me on a hot night, bro. And the thing is like, through the promo battles, there's a lot of people that want to question your legitimacy, or is he really in the business? But I believe cutting a promo is an art form, right? And it takes a lot of dedication. That's where a lot of the heat I get from the promos is I've been told I take it too seriously. Okay. The heat I get for the promos that I'm going to be hosting, or the way I mentioned it should be hosted, is because I want it structured in a wrestling style with that cadence, with that the element of the showmanship. And everybody can run their promo battles their way. It's perfectly fine. I'm not knocking anybody. I wish everybody all success in what they're creating on TikTok. And I hope you guys get the viewership you're looking for, because there's enough room for all of us. Okay. A lot of the other heat is how I view pro wrestling, right? Like, it's a little bit different now that I've been more involved in it as far as production aspects, the story writing aspect, and working in the business. Earlier today, there was a little bit of a fracas because I said a certain wrestler didn't impress me. And people wanted to go down the resume. And I was like, yeah, even with all that, I'm still not impressed. This wrestler wasn't much without their tag team partner. That's how I feel about it. I don't care how you feel about what I just said, because that's my opinion. And your opinion is your opinion. Yeah, like, your opinion's your opinion, and I'm not going to change how you feel about it. So just enjoy your opinion and respect mine. I'm not going to argue with you. right? And people wanted to launch me from that live. So that's okay. I just won't go to those lives anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's people on TikTok that want to have fun. God bless you. I want you to have fun. But then there's some of us that look at this as, hey, this is an extra $20 of gas in my gas tank this month. Right? I'm actually getting a following and people are interested in the conversation that's happening over here. So I want to make more of this kind of content and see what grows. But again, hey, if I'm not your cup of tea, it's all right, baby. You may not be my bottle of Sprite either. Okay? And to each their own. I'm not going to say nothing bad about anybody. Everybody keeps saying bad stuff about me, but that's okay because that's what I want. I want the attention and you're giving it to me. So it all works out for everybody.
Because any press is good press, right?
Right?
Yeah, I think that there's also a lot of people that aren't in the business or aren't trained, but are on there just having fun, which is fine. But some of them, I think, get convoluted, I guess, some of the along the way when you're trying to like help them, or you're trying to like, constructive criticism or something where you're trying to show them a way that, hey, this is actually how it should be done, or try it this way, and then they get, oh no, not that they know it all, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
that, but
And like I said, I was given advice of saying, just let them do it the way they want to do it. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not here to educate anybody anymore. I'm not here to wise you up. I'm not here to tell you the ins and outs of kayfabe. If that's what you believe, God bless you. Believe it. You know what I believe? If you say his name, then he'll appear.
Yeah, that was pretty wild that he showed up at Wrestlemania. By the way,
Yeah, buddy.
Was that who you were expecting, or
No, bro. But I told my cousin to hurry up and blow out the candles on the birthday cake because I had to go see Joe Hendry on TV.
So let me go ahead and this is the first time I've said this, by the way, right? I was thinking it earlier, but we are in the midst of getting a Randy Orton versus John Cena heavyweight title shot, right? Or match.
Yes.
And when John Cena beats Randy Orton at Backlash, does that by proxy now make John Cena also the TNA heavyweight champion, since Randy Orton just, dismantled Joe Hendry in front of everybody at WrestleMania?
It does
Does it work
not
that way
make
for him,
him
or
the
does it not?
TNA world champion.
Is the math not mathing?
That's like, I appreciate what happened there with Joe Hendry, but I
Yeah,
said
of
it.
course. It's
I
a
said
great
it right
opportunity.
after. I was like, oh, so you just
Kills him.
delegitimized the whole roster, right?
Yeah.
And people want to argue with that statement, but Joe Hendry is the TNA world champion, right? So he represents all of TNA. He's the best of them, right? And that means Randy Orton can run through that whole roster if he wanted to. Now, I like what they're doing with Joe Hendry and NXT. It makes more sense, right? Because now that's on par, and you have Evolve that's right here. You know what I mean? Evolve's the new developmental. NXT, TNA, now they're the Raw and SmackDown of the brands below Raw and SmackDown.
Do you also think that, I think aesthetically wise, just having Joe Hendry, who I've seen next to other wrestlers, and he's a big guy, but when he was standing next to Randy looked massive.
Joe
He looked
Hendry
twice
is a
the size
big
of Joe
guy.
Hendry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Joe
he's
Hendry
like
is a big guy.
6'3". He's like 6'3".
Randy Orton is just bigger.
Massive. I mean,
He's like what, 6'4"?
6'4". I mean, he's at the biggest, mass wise of his career too. I mean, he's put on so much weight when he was out with his injury.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's looking great. And, I don't know. I wasn't too happy about the ending of WrestleMania, but, if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. But
I
what were
mean,
your thoughts on that?
I was
Do you think,
entertained all the
I
way
think the
through.
biggest thing is that I think we should have got a Rock payoff, I guess. I mean,
Everybody keeps saying that, but I'm kind of glad he wasn't there.
unless they're stretching it, you know what I mean? I think maybe this ultimately leads to Cody turning, heel, but this is about you. I don't want to talk about Cody WrestleMania.
Well, I mean, to give you the long and short of it, I think The Rock showing up would have overshined the moment we had and would have taken away from it. I think Travis Scott was more than enough, right? Played his role, did the job, bam, boom, we're out of there. When it comes to Cody turning heel, I would say he's been a heel this whole time, just in a different way.
I've been saying that. I've been a big proponent of saying that he's a heel.
Look what he did to Kevin Owens' neck.
His mannerisms about how he interacts with people, of how his body language is perceived, it's all heel all the way. And when he turns heel, everyone's going to go, "Oh, it all made perfect sense all along." Is how I feel.
You know what? And you know what?
Like
he's too greedy.
They were going to do.
He's too greedy on Clash of Clans. He's too greedy on Clash of Clans.
He's too greedy. I don't know anything about Clash of Clans. I know that the Viking Raiders, that's what their outfit was inspired by, because Pat McAfee was going crazy talking about it, but I don't know anything about it. So Star Wars, though, you're a big Star Wars fan. What came first? Was it Star Wars or was it wrestling?
Shit, that's a good question. The answer to that question has been lost to time.
Probably around,
they were like both
hand in hand,
hugely influential. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you? Well, let me see what I have here. I have this one spelled out for you. Have you ever thought about incorporating some sort of Star Wars inspired theme into your gimmick? Like, I put on here, like maybe like a douchey Triple M Spaceballs parody type of gimmick that, as a heel, I think would be hilarious. I see it's got the wheel turning. It's got the wheel turning in there. I could see something.
I haven't, but if the right opportunity came up, I would.
Hey, now I don't know if you're booked for anything, but May the 4th is right around the corner, and that might be something. Hey, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not a booker. I'm just saying, putting it out into the ether.
May the 4th is also potentially mine and Maricella's anniversary. So we don't know which day of the week that first week in May that we got together. So we take the whole week.
Okay.
Usually May the 4th, I'll have a lightsaber duel with my friend Will. Right. This year I have to work. But that's not a bad thing, because if I get out of work earlier enough, I can put on my Mandalorian gimmick and have some fun with it.
Yeah. So I haven't never watched the episode of Mandalorian. I wanted to when it first came out, and it's like a lot of shows. Like, I want to watch them, and then by the time I even go to attempt, they're already 3-4 seasons deep, and it's just like that. I'm like, oh, it's just a lot of commitment, and then I just wind up.
That's the best time to just binge watch the whole damn thing. How do you think I got through Game of Thrones?
True, you're right. When there are multiple seasons and things already out there, that's the best time. Because when you get on something from the beginning and you don't have enough stuff to watch, it's like, damn, I want more.
I will tell you this. There are different aspects of Mandalorian culture. Okay. Din Djarin, the man known as the Mandalorian, is a mudhorn. And they run their shit a certain way. I associate with House Fett and am a mythosaur. So we will take off the helmet for one or two reasons: to show respect, or it's the last thing you're gonna see.
Ooh, I like that. I like
But yeah, I
that.
have a like it's not Mandalorian armor, but it's some like motorcycle armor that I've put together with like some camouflage pants and the boots. I got a whole gimmick going on. It's dope.
I did watch Rogue One though, and that's like what, a prequel to Mandalorian,
Rogue
or is
One
it?
is a prequel. It's within the Star Wars story. It's a side chapter to the Skywalker saga.
Okay.
So if you're gonna watch Star Wars, you need to watch 1, 2, 3. So that's Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. After Revenge of the Sith, you need to watch Clone Wars. No, between Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones, you need to watch Clone Wars. Then Rogue One, then Han Solo, then the original 3. Fuck the last 3; they don't mean shit. And then Mandalorian and Boba
Yeah.
Fett.
Yeah, I gotta get into Mandalorian. I've seen pretty much all the movies, I think, besides the last one. But yeah, I just honestly sometimes I have to watch Star Wars movies multiple times to really like understand what's happening sometimes, just because there's so many Easter eggs and there's so many things, like when you watch it and you're like, oh shit, like that was this, or that's what they were
Bro,
doing, or it makes so much sense when, you know what I mean, when you rewatch them a few times. There's a lot of movies like that, I
I
feel like.
when I was in high school on my computer, I had the whole Star Wars encyclopedia.
Damn.
Okay, bro. Like for my film and video art class, I was making lightsaber dueling movies along with wrestling movies. My film and video art, Miss Nelson, God bless her soul, she fucking hated me. She was like, "Let me
Um,
just give this kid an A and get him the hell out of here."
yeah,
Um,
he's obsessed with Star Wars. We need to get him out of here.
no, like I mean, I still have ships that I got in 1996 when I was younger. I have a lightsaber universal remote that I got in 97. And then like I have a whole collection of new Star Wars shit because my fiance is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But like Star Wars and pro wrestling and nerdy shit like that, like really like changed my life. Like it made sure I didn't make the really fucked up decisions.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing. Like sometimes people can be like, oh, you know, you collect this or you do that, and that's nerdy. But it's like, hey, there's so many worse things out there you could be doing. And, you know, obviously, if
You
that's
could you could be on an island or at a certain party involving baby oil. Speaking of baby oil, hi Royal Hawaiian.
Hi, Triple A.
Yes, I wanted to. She's actually on my list as well. I wanted to bring up the Royal Hawaiian and ask you about her. She is your auntie, correct?
Yes, I'm
From the
her adopted nephew.
Okay, okay,
In the
and she
middle
is
of the name of
from Glow Wrestling.
Glow, the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, not that bullshit you see on Netflix.
Yeah, not that fabricated stuff you see on.
Not, and don't get me wrong, Awesome Kong is a cool person, but how you gonna turn a Hawaiian into Awesome Kong? It don't make no sense. But yes, the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, which next year is actually their 40th anniversary. How about that?
And Roxy just dropped news today. See it?
What did Roxy drop?
And you guys are putting together a show, right?
Afterglow,
Yeah.
Afterglow project with the Fox Kite that we just did the show with in Vegas.
So there's also another project in works, potentially with Fox Sports, that's coming of the interactions we had in Las Vegas for Glow. So we, yes, are also planning a show here in California. We're getting closer to locking down the venue. We're down to our top 3 venues. We're hoping to bring the gorgeous ladies of wrestling and have it interact with the up and coming female stars of today in professional wrestling. And let's talk about it. Let's really have a conversation about that. I'm a girl dad. I'm a
Same.
girl dad.
Same.
And I love the fact that we are putting shine on female wrestling. It's not a side attraction. It's not a dark match anymore. It's a main event conversation. Let's talk about East Los Lucha hosting the first female ladder match in East Los Angeles in California for their East Los Lucha Women's Champion. and Delilah Doom and Gypsy Mac went all the way in that match. If you want to find out how it ended up, go to SoCalWrestling.tv and check it out for yourself.
Check it out for sure. Like you said, being a girl dad and having an outlet for women to grow up and have a space that they can, perform their craft as well. It's, and honestly, like saying that, like I have a son as well. But I think that my daughter is probably going to wind up being more into wrestling than my son is now, because when she watches it, you could just see her just, light up and get into it. And she's only 2. So it's like, yeah.
You know what's funny? I have 5 kids, right? Josh, Max, Michael, Bella, Hansel. Max is the only one that doesn't like wrestling.
Really?
But you got to have one odd duck, right? You got to have one. But Max is very artistic, so he's gifted in his own way.
Yeah, that's always good though, because then he's gonna get into things that you might not find interesting, but then you guys might find interesting together. You know what I mean? So
you know what? As a dad,
like
I try to find everything they do interesting to let them know I care and I'm into them. Just though my dad wasn't into wrestling, but you know what? Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania. We had parties at the house, full spread, all the lunch meat you can think of, brother. Every soda flavor in the world, ice cream, fried chicken. He didn't like wrestling, but he loved his son.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. So you said that you were out there for Comptonmania in Vegas. Tell me about that.
Yes,
you guys were booked out there to perform.
We were out there working with Primo Pro Wrestling from Colorado. You know who wrestles at Primo? You know who their big guy is at Primo?
I don't.
Coming to you live, the final boss, Bruce Waynes. That dude's a whole other vibe. It was so cool meeting him, following his career. And I read back, and 3 years ago, I messaged him. I hope to announce or call one of your matches. And one better, we were in a locker room together. How about that? We had WGW, World's Greatest Wrestling. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Bovey, your new participation champion, Mr. Bovinator. On the card, we had Versus Pro hosting the whole event. And let me tell you, there's controversy in Compton. Tell me about it.
I love controversy.
The Ghetto Gauntlet did not end the way many thought it would. The absence of Aaron Glass was a big factor in that. I put Paul London in that Ghetto Gauntlet pole position, number 1. He disrespected our belt, so he was going to pay for it. By God, him and Shiloh Greaves, who I put in number 2, the man who put me in the neck brace, stem cells, baby. They went the distance. But Wes Logan, the unprofessional wrestler, saw an opportunity and he took it. Paul London, though he stepped through the middle ropes, no longer your Comptonmania MFM. And if you guys are wondering what MFM stands for, it means the mother flipping man. I don't want to use the hard F-bomb on Lurch's channel. It's brand new. Can't get it banned yet.
We're still trying to make those greenbacks,
Yeah. So and now a lot of the blame is falling on me. This is your fault, Triple M.
You got me demonetized. So when you were out there, I seen you got to link up with Nasty Leroy from GCW. He was in Joey Janela's Clusterfuck. I got to watch half of the Clusterfuck. I did watch him come out and do his spot, which was great. I don't know if you've seen it, or if you got to attend live. I don't know. Did you attend any shows out there?
At the same time, the Clusterfuck was happening. We were at Container Park on our show. And also the Royal Hawaiian was at that collection of shows. She had a spot. Ooh, don't you piss her off when she got pineapple in her hand, let me tell you.
Okay.
You thought Carlito was a bad man with that apple. She'll send that pineapple somewhere else and not in a good way.
Oh, man.
So, but we did link up at a midnight show by the Nerd Bar. It was such a pleasure and an honor to meet Nasty Leroy.
Yeah, shout out to Nasty
Having been
Leroy.
in communication with him all weekend, like, hey, bro, I can't wait to meet up with you. You guys don't understand who Nasty Leroy is in this business. He's one of those guys that is so respected and known coast to coast. He is a professional. He is a hardworking man, and he deserves every ounce of respect. Every ounce of respect. It was so humbling to take a picture with them, and then my people be like, how do you know Nasty Leroy? How are you friends with Nasty Leroy? I've been in the business 10 years, and I haven't even met Nasty Leroy yet. Shiloh Greaves, trained by Rikishi in Reno, NOI. Been wrestling since he's 16 years old. Tripping out that I know Nasty Leroy and I call him my homie. And don't be surprised if you see Nasty Leroy pop up in Compton.
Yeah, I'll be reaching out to Nasty Leroy soon as well. I like I said, I love what he did at the cluster Fouquet. I don't know, like I said, if you got a chance to see it, but it was pretty hilarious. They're calling him New Roy now.
New Roy.
New Roy, because he came out to New Jack's music with a whole New Jack type of
hey,
thing
bro,
going
that
on,
man.
so.
That same night, I run into Nasty Leroy, right? I'm in a locker room with Brian Kendrick. Okay. We're in the same locker room as the micro mini wrestlers. Bro, those guys know how to have a good time.
I was just at a show recently. There's the micro wrestling federation.
Pranksters. There's some pranksters, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Right? It's a cool vibe when you're walking into the Nerd Bar and you don't get your ID checked and the doorman goes, "What's up, Triple M? Come on in."
There you go. Triple M's got his name out there in Vegas, man.
Bro, it's not about having my name out there. I just interact with so many people. I made sure I talked to everybody that made eye contact with me. If you had a wrestling shirt, you were getting invited to one of the shows I was going to be at.
Yeah.
Right. And then I got the pleasure and honor of managing my newest client, the newest addition to my golden empire, the youngest Destination 6 world heavyweight champion in history. Noah, 2 belts, Mama Way's favorite wrestler. He's your current Big Valley Wrestling heavyweight champion, and he's the newly minted Valor Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion. There's nothing Noah can't do. If he wants it, he's taking it, and there's nothing you can do about it but cry like a baby.
So you also, I see you got to meet up with the Machoverse impersonator.
Yes. Don't be shocked if you see him in Compton pretty soon. It was we started chopping it up. He goes, "Yeah, you got a nice suit on there." And I was like, "Bro, I love it." And I was like, "Have you ever heard of Comptonmania?" He's like, "Yeah, Comptonmania. Yeah, there's a lot of macho maniacs out there. Yeah." Fucking guy's a whole ass vibe, bro. I love him.
I've talked to him a few times on TikTok. He's pretty cool. Yeah, he's
a very cool guy, bro. Like Living Color played their concert right outside of our hotel, bro. VIP access. Okay, we were in the same hotel with AJ Mana. Okay, members that you don't even know are coming yet of the bloodline.
That's what I like to hear.
Okay. Such an honor to be in Reno Anoai's presence, bro. And him treat you like one of his nephews, right? Treat you like one of his kin. Oos, you grew your hair out, Oos. I haven't seen Reno in 6-7 years, man.
Yeah, the fact that you remember,
Yeah. Oos. We can use you over here, Oos. Want to go big time, Oos? Got to go to the Knox Pro show for free. Got to see Juicy Finau wreck shit, bro.
He's on a tear. He's on a tear right now.
Oh my God. Call the fucking National Guard. This guy is a monster. Okay, we'll be with him May 1st at Santino Brothers Wrestling.
how was the crowds? Because I've seen pictures and some videos of like letting out of Mania, like where people were running up the escalator trying to. It was almost like watching an episode of Wipeout where they're trying to like little rats running up the
Bro,
escalators.
every show that I went to, and I'll be clear, I didn't go to the bigger shows. Okay.
Yep.
But
And the reason I'm going to
who
ask
can
you,
tell you is when you have the Royal Hawaiian on, she'll tell you all about the bigger shows she went to.
okay,
Right. We were at Melina show, Divas and Drags, hot crowd. Right. Every show that was on Fremont Street by the Nerd Bar, hot crowd. Right. Container Park, hot crowd. Let me tell you, Las Vegas is a wrestling town. And it's not over. It didn't end with WrestleMania week because right now is Level Up Expo presented by Versus Pro. All the wrestling all over again. Versus Pro is bringing out the best and brightest. Lois Grain, aka your WoW champion class master, Mikey O'Shea, Legend Daryl, and many, many more names. Las Vegas is becoming a hub of professional wrestling.
When you were there, you didn't go to WrestleMania, and I know that there's a specific reason why you didn't go to WrestleMania. Do you care to share that with the audience?
Yes,
I think it's awesome. I think it's pretty awesome.
I was offered an opportunity to go to night one,
to main event night one.
The main event,
I'm just kidding.
But I made a promise to my daughter that we would go to WrestleMania together. Unfortunately, due to complications of being an ex-spouse of a person, she was not allowed to go to Las Vegas with me. Also, that trip would have been very different if she did. But I did promise her one day it's going to happen. We're going to go to WrestleMania together. And my baby girl, like, she was raised on wrestling. The day we came home from the hospital was a Friday. So I watched SmackDown with her.
That's awesome.
Right? She's the biggest fan of The Undertaker and the Boogeyman. Don't ask me why. She was an Alberto Del Rio guy when she was like 2 years old. She used to have me put on the music and then push her in her little like stroller cart. You know that red one?
Oh, I know the music too. I can hear the music in my head now. I can imagine.
And then she would get out of it with her little scarf and she'd be right? Like so like she's like her and Hansel are my little wrestling babies. Michael and Joshua were big John Cena guys. Right? But ironically enough, Joshua and Bella train in MMA. Mikey wrestled in high school, knows MMA. Max and Hansel, wrestlers when they were younger, like elementary school to junior high. They were tough kids. Okay. The same coach that coached Max coaches Hansel. Well, when Hansel comes back. My fiance, Maricela, one of the first female wrestlers at our high school. Okay. Of all of my friends I went to high school with and did backyard wrestling with, I'm the one that took the shot. So it's kind of funny how like everything intertwines and works out.
Yeah, I think that's a good promise to have. It's a special between you and your. That's a good dad, ladies and gentlemen out there, because there's several dads and moms, I'm sure, that would, say, screw it, I'm just going to go because I'm out here. You know what I mean? But when you guys do make it to a WrestleMania, it's just going to make it that much more special for both of you guys. So she has the Undertaker's belt, the first one they came out with. Okay.
And when he announced his retirement, like I was supposed to give her that belt for her birthday, but when he announced his retirement, she was distraught. So I had to give her the belt. And then her mom was like, where the fuck did this belt come from? I was like, Jesus. But like, yeah, I love the
stuff. Did you guys get good food while you guys were out there?
Bro,
did you guys get any good food while you guys were out there?
There's a spot out there called Evil Knievel Pizza. It's right there on Fremont Street. Like I made it my point not to leave Fremont Street because that's where I vibe. Right? They got the concerts, everything's popping at Fremont Street. Okay. We saw they did the whole 2K25 face off on Fremont Street between was it Carmelo Hayes and what's that broad's name from Fontana? Mia Yim?
Gail Kim?
No, not Gail Kim.
Oh, Mia Yim, yeah.
Yeah, Mia Yim. So they did the whole like it was popping. It was popping. But yeah, there's a spot right there called Evil Knievel Pizza. The taco place right there on Fremont Street was bomb. But most of all, you got to go in the spot that sells the chili dogs at the D Hotel. They are fire. I love me some good chili dogs. What up, PBJ? Or RBJ, my bad. Dyslexic moment. RBJ, my homeboy works there. He's another worker. We're going to have him out in California very soon. Man, it was such a great time.
Did you get to visit any dispensaries while you're out there?
Bro, there was a dispensary right there on Fremont Street.
Yeah.
Like,
I've been to
basically
Vegas
everybody
twice.
sells weed in Vegas.
Yeah, I've been to Vegas twice. The first time I went was before things were legalized, and the second time I went, it was a month after they just legalized and had dispensaries and everything. So that was my first time in a dispensary out there. It was mind blowing. I felt like scared to death to even look around or look at anything, and it was also late after we got in after the flight. So it is what it is, but now it's just like everything's just completely desensitized to me. It just is like none of that even matters anymore.
Vegas is LA with casinos.
Yeah, I would imagine, and also I'm sure there's probably anywhere they could probably think of a dispensary. They probably have one in California, right? Yeah, like in basements and crazy locations like that.
They're more like speakeasies. Speakeasies. So, but it's a vibe, bro. It's a great time for wrestling and weed.
I got a couple more questions for you, Triple M, and I'll let you go. Have you ever thought about doing would you ever do a hardcore or deathmatch style match if built correctly? I know obviously not just to throw away just to do it, but if for any reason it was built correctly, never?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I work with this.
There you go. Got the money maker. You don't want to mess the money maker up.
And I'm not saying anything negative about guys who work that style, like Aiden Way, Judge Joe Dredd, other guys that hey, God bless you. I don't have that kind of threshold for it.
Hey, that's all good.
Right?
That's all good.
I like keeping the red stuff inside my body.
Hey, it's all good. What someone who is heavily influenced by Lucha Libre, would you say that Lucha Libre, like the area that you're in, is heavily influenced by Lucha Libre? Or
yes, I think definitely. I grew up in a Lucha market, and I highly enjoy Lucha Libre. It's a whole different style. It's a whole different vibe. The crowds are hot. Like oh man, it's so awesome, the interactions you get at Lucha Libre shows, right?
Yeah, I think it's
culero.
It's a real pure form of art, especially when they get to express their characters and their mask and the story and the lineage and things like that, the traditions. I think that what's going on now.
I'm telling you, if you guys want to know. Oh, sorry. If you guys want to follow some Lucha Libre from this area, you got to check out East Los Lucha. East Los Lucha. They have something going on there.
Yeah, definitely check that out, East Los Lucha. I'll be checking it out. Like I said, I've been getting into a lot more Lucha. It's just that I feel like it's hard to find sometimes, or obviously being in this country, it's you gotta seek it out, I guess, to find AAA and stuff. But I think now with this whole WWE buying AAA deal, it's going to be a lot more accessible and a lot more influenced into the American culture now, I would assume. Yeah. Now I know they're saying they're going to keep it separate, whatever. But did you also see the news that literally as soon as WWE bought them, Alberto El Patron, who you brought up earlier, is now gone, who was their heavyweight champion, which is I guess
Well,
first,
was that his choice or was that a choice that was made for him?
I would assume. I think that I haven't seen anything about it, so I can't say one way or another. But I guess just assuming it looks to appear that WWE is the one that made that decision. But maybe he made a decision and said, I don't want to be a part of this happening. So
And let's face facts. He's not the Alberto Al Patron from years ago, right?
no.
And WWE is known for having a rather clean product, meaning they don't want too much controversy with their performers. So,
What do you?
but I'll tell you what. There is a new promotion coming out in the LA area, Hawaiian Gardens, Rebellious Pro Wrestling. Dare to be rebellious, my friends.
Check it out. One last question, just to piggyback off of the AAA Lucha conversation. What do you think about the Grande Americano gimmick that's going on?
I think Grande Americano is a fine luchador. I enjoy his work. In no way, shape, or form does he resemble Chad Gable. Doesn't even sound like him. The physique is completely different than Chad Gable's physique. If you really look at the muscle tone and the fibers that are in his muscle, they're not the same guy.
Not to get political, and we obviously leave politics out, but do you think it's offensive to the lucha culture in any sort of way? And also to think that, like, what just happened with WWE buying them and all those representatives from AAA being ringside, and then El Grande Americano goes over Ray Phoenix on the biggest stage of them all. Do you think there's anything into that, or just?
I don't. I think the people that are going to be offended by it are people that aren't even from the culture.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, it's a gimmick. It's a work, right? We all know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even one of the luchadors from AAA got involved in the match. So they were in on the gimmick.
Yeah.
Right? And who else? Tell me how you don't win when you have a loaded mask. Right?
Yeah.
When Lex Luger used to throw that steel plate loaded bicep, right? Everybody got knocked out because they got hit with the metal plate. Be entertained, people.
Yeah, I think again, and this is with a lot of other conversations that have been coming up lately in pro wrestling, when people start to bring the outside nonsense into it, it's where it just becomes, like, why even watch then? You know what I mean? Because that's why a lot of people like myself and probably like you watch wrestling to kind of escape from reality, escape from the everyday BS that, I like to keep that out. Same thing with sports. I like to watch sports, but when they start involving all their politics and stuff into it, it's like, bro, I don't want to watch anymore, so.
You know how happy I was when the election was over and I didn't have to hear everybody arguing? Right? Like,
arguing about nothing that they're going to fix or change, or their opinion really doesn't matter anyway.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Like, I don't engage in those conversations. What I believe, as far as that goes, is nobody's business. It's between me and God, right?
Yep.
As long as I'm able to have my basic freedoms and smoke my weed, I'm okay.
Well, I appreciate you, Triple M, for stopping by Blaze the Bingo Hall. I know we had a little bit of technical issues, but we got through it. If there's anything that you want to plug, anything that you have upcoming, let the people know. Also, let them know where they can follow you, like, subscribe, comment to anything that you got going on. Same thing with Blaze the Bingo Hall. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and comment. We love the appreciation, and we love the feedback that you guys are giving us. So go ahead, Triple M, you got the floor.
This Wednesday at Relentless Pro Wrestling, we're having our press conference for our upcoming event on May 17th. And on May 17th, Slice Boogie, my undefeated king of the concrete jungle, is being forced to defend against an unworthy opponent. Mikey O'Shea, yes, you had a great showing out in Las Vegas for Mania weekend. I'm sure you're going to have a great showing this weekend out for Level Up. but you are not going to stop my king of the concrete jungle. He won't be stopped. He can't be stopped. You're looking at the forever SoCal heavyweight champion. Okay. March 17th is also Comptonmania in Watts, California. Unfortunately, the mayor of Comptonmania has other engagements and a medical procedure to go through, so it won't be there. Check out Wrestling Warzone on all social media platforms and SoCalWrestling.tv. Follow Rebellious Championship Wrestling on Instagram. We have Valor Pro Wrestling coming up May 10th up in Hesperia at VFW Post 2924 in Joshua Tree. An exciting card. We've got that pirate you love, Captain Buggy, back in action. And let me tell you, he climbs trees. I've never seen a pirate climb trees, but this one does. June, I believe June 20th or 21st is our Rebellious show. Then June 27th, I will be in Tennessee, in Nashville, working for a local kickboxing promotion out there. I'll be doing commentary and interviews.
Nice.
So follow me at the tag below. That's TikTok and Instagram. Easiest ways to get a hold of me. The DNA test said I am not the baby daddy, so no more child support. But yeah, link up with me. Also, DM me about some shirts. We got the shirts. We got multiple colors and sizes. We got pink.
Definitely get a shirt from Triple M. Like you said earlier, you guys get a signed, is it 8x10 or?
It's a 4x6.
4x6 free with the shirt purchase.
Yeah.
$15 plus shipping.
If I send 8x10, husbands get jealous,
Yeah, you don't want that to happen. So, I appreciate everybody coming by, bearing with us with the technical issues, but stay tuned for this episode when it drops. Triple M, I appreciate you for coming by. You have a great night, my friend.
Thank you, Young Lurch. And remember, blaze the bingo hall.
Yes, blaze the bingo hall.